Hi, this is Project Spark Alphabet. I'm Lady Lex UK, and today we're doing the letter N. And for my brain tile, I have chosen nearest object, and for my prop, I've chosen the nutsack from the Conquer DLC. So let's start off with our brain tile, the nearest object tile. What is it and what does it do? Well, first of all, it is a sensor tile, and what it finds is your nearest object, exactly what it suggests that it is. So let's put some code in and see it in action. So go to sensors, pick nearest object, and we're going to make it a hologram so that we can see which one it's selected. So it's going to find its nearest object and then it's going to make it a hologram. So we've got lots of objects here. We've got swords and other weapons and some food and a goblin and all sorts of things. So as I go around, it's picking out what it thinks is the nearest object to my player. And it's not anything to do with distance or detection. It is literally finding the nearest object. So you could have these objects on a completely different island to you and it won't make any difference. It will select whatever is the nearest object regardless of how far away it is. So there we go. Now you can also filter that nearest object by using other things. So let's say we wanted to filter all the objects, so if it was interactable, there we go, it's only going to make it into a hologram if you can interact with it. So we're going around, yes, we can interact with that and we can interact with that, but we can't interact with our goblin or our chocolate or this. Can interact with that. Can interact with that. We can interact with that mace. We can't interact with the bottle. Now you'll notice that I'm standing here and nothing is a hologram. And you're like, well, why isn't it showing me the latest, the nearest interactable object? Well, it's finding your nearest object, which is this bottle, and you've told it to only put a hologram on it if it's interactable. So it's found its nearest object, and your code says, but I'm not interested in making it a hologram. So how do you do it so that instead of what we've got here, we're actually going to pick out the nearest interactable object? Well, instead of going through all of our objects, we're going to go through a subset, and in this case we're going through all the interactable objects. So we want all the interactable objects, nearest object, make it a hologram. So this time when we do it and we stand next to this bottle, it says the nearest interactable object is the mace. It doesn't matter that the bottle is nearer. Return, the gun is nearer, but you can see it's not interacting with the nearest object, it's acting with the nearest interactable object. So that's how you can filter either or how you display it or what you're actually searching for. Now let's say we wanted to highlight the melee weapons. So you might go, okay, if it is a melee weapon, then I want you to create a hologram. So we're going to test that, and so far so good. Right, we've got a sword, that's a melee weapon, that's fine. We've got a mace, that is. Now there's a bow over here. No, that's not a melee weapon, that's highlighting in yellow to say it's an interactable object, but it's not creating a hologram. That's a ranged weapon. Yep, that's a melee weapon. And hang on a minute, that's a box, that's a gift box, that's a gift. Why is that a melee weapon? And if we wander over to here, it's like chocolate. Chocolate apparently is a melee weapon in Project Spark. Beware men coming at you with a bar of chocolate. So that's no good. We can't be using that because some objects are not weapons and they're coming up as being melee objects. So that's no good. That's not what we want. So how can we stop that? Well, you need to make your own subset, a unique one that contains the objects that you want to search for. So in the brains of all my weapons, I've put this code. Once, global weapons increment by me. So it's going to create a global weapons set, and all the objects that has got this code in it will be part of that object set. So I'm going to put all my weapons in. So all of my weapons have got that code. Let me just show you. Here's a mace. There we are. That line of code is in there. And remember when we did a subset before? We're going to do a subset again. So we'll say global weapons, nearest object. If it's a melee weapon, we're going to make it a hologram. Okay, so let's wander around, see if that works this time. So we've got, yep, that's a melee weapon. That's a melee weapon. No, that doesn't like that. No. What about the chocolate? Because that was a vicious weapon earlier. No, no, it's not. That isn't. That's a ranged weapon. There we go. So now we've got our nearest melee weapon. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. But what, when it's going through the weapons and says if it's a melee weapon, make it a hologram. But it's not doing, if I put a weapon like this between me and that sword, suddenly that sword is not highlighted. We have the same problem as we had before, because it's only highlighting, it's only going to do the code when it finds the two things to be comparable. So it's found a nearest object and it's interactable. If it's found a nearest object and it's not, and it's a weapon and it's not, then it's not going to put the code on, so it doesn't work. So in this circumstance, then what you need to do is make a subset of your global weapons. So you say global weapons, and you say for each of the global weapons, when it is a melee weapon, then global melee subset is incremented by it. So it's going through all the global weapons and it's finding all the melee weapons, and so now we change this now to melee subset, and now it's going to find, as before, now we've got, there we go, that gun hasn't stopped it, that sword is the nearest melee weapon to me, so it's highlighting the melee weapon, and now it's highlighting the mace. There you go. There's loads of ways that you can filter a nearest object search. You can experiment. You can use, does the object contain a specific brain? Is it a specific colour? There's all sorts of things you can do. Experiment with it. You might find it's very useful for creating a search facility for quests, so that you press a button and it will give you your nearest quest it will highlight it on a map or something like that. There's lots of things that you can do with nearest object and filtering. So let me know if there's anything specific you want to do, and then I can write up a tutorial for it. Okay, let's go on to our prop area. I think I'll take this code out so it's not going to interfere. There we go. So the nutsack, here it is here. I'll make it bigger so we can see it. Okay, it is a big bag of nuts, and it says so on the side, nuts. It's like, well, there you go, that's what it is. What else can you do with that, really? It's a bag of nuts. Well, it's amazing how versatile this little pot could actually be. So, first of all, the most obvious thing you want to do with it is to make that a bag of something else. So, what we do is we go into here, and we try to find a colour. There we go. That is the same as the bag, and voila, the word nuts has now disappeared, and this is now a bag of nuts without the word nuts written on it. Now, if we can change the colour of its contents like this, and now we've got a bag of green stuff, and you could add a few cabbages like so. And you glue that all together, and then you get a nice big bag. They're a bit high, but you know, you get the idea. You get a bag of cabbages, and there you have a bag of cabbages, and you can put anything you like in there just to do the different combinations to make a different bag of stuff. I like to make a bag of coins out of this, so let's just make it nice and big. And we're going to make it nice and easy by making the bag black, so we don't have to worry about the word nuts, because that's nice, easy, just matching it up. And we're going to make these a little bit brighter like that, and then I'm going to stick some coin in there. There we go. Now we've got a bag of coin, which is really good. So now we'll multi-edit that and glue that together, and that's a bag of coin. And we're going to stick a coin pickup brain in there. So what we will pick up coin. Pick up coin. There we go. And I want that to turn quickly rather than slowly, and I want the coin counter to increment by 20 coin instead of 1 coin. There we go. And then just to make this a little bit more special, I've got a special effect here which I quite like. So I'm going to change the colour of that, because I don't want that to be sort of turquoise, I want it to be gold, so it looks like there's a lot of gold coins inside, all sparkling. You just change all the colours to gold like that. And then we want to attach that to our bag. And there, I think that's a bit big. Let's make it a bit smaller. There we go, that looks good. There we go, so it's all sparkling coin in the bag. Now then, you also need to fiddle with the detect sensor for this, so because it's got, there we go, make that smaller so it's the size of the bag. There we are, we have got a bag of coin. Can we not make that smaller now? Oh, we've made the special effect. Special effect is too small. Okay, so that's the size of it. That's the size it's going to have to be. Okay, so we're going to test. There we are, and there's our lovely collectible bag of coin. I think that looks really, really snazzy, so we can go over there and collect it. But hang on a minute, I've now got a special effect in my pocket. That's not ideal. I don't really want that, because the object has gone into our inventory, and you just about see where inventory objects actually go. Look, they sort of hover around your player. So how do we solve that problem? Well, it's quite simple. We're going to the brain. It says once you've picked up the object, you switch page to here. So when held in inventory, and we're going to say for each of attachments, it power off. Now this lower coin count bit, I don't see of any way that you'd actually drop the coin sack, but obviously you'd want to change that to 20, and you'd also power on all these attachments. But to be honest, I don't think that's ever going to happen in a game, and it's nothing you need to worry about. So this should solve the problem of the sparkly pants. Boom! There we go. No longer have sparkly pants, but I do have 20 coin. Now the other things that you can use this nutsack for, clothing. Right, so let's make this white. There we go. So it doesn't say nuts anymore, and we'll stick a goblin in. Actually, there we go. There's my goblin, and I'm going to rotate this, and I'm going to attach it to his back socket. We'll just scale that down a bit. There we go. And we're going to go into Character Studio for this. Character Studio and clothing. And we're going to get rid of that chest armor there. And I think let's get rid of those. That's it. We'll put some trousers on him. We'll give them white trousers. And white shoes. There we go. So now he looks like a raw muscled up guy with a t-shirt on, which is quite interesting. And actually, I don't want to do that. I should have done that before. So now we're gonna get another nutsack, make that white again. And we're gonna rotate that one again. I think you can see where this is going. And we're going to attach that to his head. Maybe a little bigger. There we go. I've made a chef. It's a chef goblin. I don't know what he's going to prepare us for dinner, but I don't think I'll want to eat it. So there you are. You can do all sorts of things with the nut bag. I'm not going to keep saying that. I don't know why they deserve. There we are. Put that into the ground like that. And they look a little bit like coffee beans to me. So if you were doing a world where everybody was, it was very small. You could do that, and you can make those a little bit darker, so they look like coffee beans. Okay, thank you for watching, and keep sparking.